Well, hello, VARTECH. It's good to be back. And I don't know if you remember from last year, but I tried to solve the chip problem with just a small box. This year, I hope you're enjoying the chips that we provided this year. We haven't solved the supply chain problem yet, but we're working on it. You know, we had an interesting talk yesterday because we heard about, things that, we had to be thinking about what our one is. And I really like that because it really focused on the human element of what we do on a daily basis. And the question I would pose to us just related to that is, what does essential mean to you? Who are the people you're impacting? What are the processes you're impacting? What are the businesses you're transforming? The fact is that the things that are the most essential are the things that are impacting people on a daily basis. That's what essential is really about. And the fact is that in this modern world, digitization is happening everywhere. And essential is quickly becoming something that, in the end, if we don't have a capability of incorporating digitization, we're hamstrung. And that's certainly what Steve was talking about with the struggles that we have in the world today. And there's no other way to put it. The chip shortage is costing the U.S. economy billions, let alone all the other places in the world that are struggling because of not having access to the products that they need at the time they need them. It's been so important now that it's literally shut down plants. If you've ever sold into an automotive company, just shutting down a plant for a couple minutes can cost millions of dollars. But GM has literally shut down for months in cases of issues. And this has created a worldwide realization that the push towards, frankly, free-for-all globalization creates significant challenges at home for every country. In fact, this was so important that a large presidential commission and legislative body came together to look at what was going on with this chip shortage. Truly, because it's being realized as an issue that's impacting every aspect of society, from health, transportation to defense. And the fact is that when you dig into what they found that in the U.S., from 1990 to 2020, chip manufacturing disappeared. Only 12% of worldwide chips were made in the United States. And this certainly put a bit of a shockwave through the legislative bodies. And they dug into what was going on. And the fact is that in Asia, massive government subsidies were basically buying business out of other places in the world, leading to effectively a massive cost advantages. And with pressures on Wall Street, it made it so that everybody decided, let's just push everything overseas. This has now created a realization that we're exposed in these kind of contexts. And Intel, in conjunction with other industry leaders like IBM, Micron, and others, talked to the government and worked on putting together a new act. And this year, we actually helped put in place what effectively is the most important collaboration between public and government since the invention of NASA and us going to the moon. And it was the CHIPS Act. This act was signed by the president, passed through legislature, and has created new abilities for us to bring chip manufacturing here back to the United States and also into Western Europe. And Intel, just like we talked last year, is investing heavily in the United States. It's probably important to recognize that we started even before this act was passed, building up 2 new fabs in our sites in Arizona. And now we've broken ground on our key facility in Ohio. Just last week, last Friday, the groundbreaking happened on this cutting-edge new fab environment. An initial investment of $20 billion to build 2 new fab modules with the highest tech capabilities for high-tech engineering. In collaboration with public universities to leverage best-of-breed skills coming out of our engineering schools, combined with key investments in construction areas for everything from our grid modernization and water that's necessary to build a fab. more than 7,000 new construction jobs. We're going to be expanding this to $100 billion over the next 5 to 7 years, focused on building out this infrastructure. Ohio is an exciting chapter in the revolutionary change that's going on inside the United States, inside of the countries of the West, as we look at realizing that we need to do better if we want to be essential. But don't take my word for it. Let's watch a couple minutes of what went on just last week at the groundbreaking in Ohio. Talk to you soon.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Let's dig. Woo!
All right.
Yeah, we got a lot of. You know, I just ask you, what aspect of your life is not becoming more digital? You know, every aspect of health, every aspect of social, every aspect of transportation, and our national defense is becoming more acutely dependent on semiconductors. And do we want our national defense to have the most advanced semiconductors in the world? You bet we do. And do we want to be dependent on foreign sources for those? You bet we don't. And for our entire history, we at Intel have performed the majority of our R&D and manufacturing right here in the US. You know, and this great state of Ohio has this tradition of manufacturing. You all like to build stuff. And that's exactly what we're going to do together. We are going to build the most advanced stuff in the world right here in Ohio.
You know, it's fitting to break ground for America's future here in Ohio. Think about it. There's kind of a tradition here. The Wright brothers, Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, they defined America's spirit, a spirit of daring and innovation. Pat Chase laid out Intel's vision that builds on that legacy. A brand new $20 billion campus, making a tiny computer chip the size of a fingertip. They're showing what we've always believed. There is nothing, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, there is nothing, not a single thing beyond our capacity as a nation if we do it together as the United States of America. And that's what we're going to do.
From this beautiful land springs great opportunities to do something wonderful, led by strong people across a unified community. To succeed, to share, to sustain, from generations past, present, and future. These legends are made, not born. Putting the heart in heartland. Our newest journey for our future begins right here, together.